Hello, my name is Andrew Jensen, and this is my VA speech for Communications 101. The goal of my speech today is to cover the book industry in the United States and the challenges of becoming a self-publishing author. The book industry in the United States of America has grown significantly throughout the ages. Literacy rates have increased, which means that more people are consuming and buying books, not to mention the amount of books that are sold required for universities and other such institutions. Thus, the book industry in the United States has grown to about $26 billion per year annually, as of 2017. That number comes from Statistica.com. Now, of that $26 billion, about $700 million are due to online ebook sales. So, ebooks are significantly cheaper than a lot of hardback books, which means that even though it is $700 million, that is only a small portion of that $26 billion number, it still means that that is a significant amount of books being sold solely through ebooks. And that information also comes from Statistica.com. Now, if you look at the amount of people that are now publishing ebooks, you'll find that about 1 million people are becoming self-published authors as of 2017, and that information comes from Publisher Weekly. Now, that 1 million number was reached in 2017. It doesn't necessarily mean that those books are going to be successful. Unlike in the past, when you completed a very difficult work and were able to be successful at publishing it, most likely you would get a significant amount of sales, maybe enough to survive on if you're able to get through the publishers. Nowadays, the publishers aren't as much of an issue, but it still means that you have issues with selling your book. And according to Forbes, as of 2017, a slightly dated source, but I think it's still fairly reliable, only about 250 books are sold out of the 1 million books that are published. 250 books are sold per one of those, per those 1 million books. So that information is a little bit iffy now. It's probably gotten a little bit worse, so I'd imagine actually less books are sold, less copies of books are sold. And so now I'll do a presentation here real quick. So my wife, who aspires to be a publishing author, if she lived about 200 years ago, she would have to deal with the publishing houses of those days. This book that she has is an 1828 Webster's Dictionary book. Now, if you were successful at publishing this book back in 1828, it would have taken decades of combined research and dedicated study, and once you're able to get it published, you probably would have made a successful amount of money because it would be the chief and finest piece of work in its section. Nowadays, if you take up the Kindle, the needs of going through publishers have significantly diminished. So you can literally write a book, self-publish it on some place like Amazon, and you can have it sold and then downloaded onto devices like this or your smartphone. I actually have a friend whose name is Janine, and she self-published a book on Amazon.com and actually made the #1 top free for Amazon for that week because she was very good at marketing her book and told her friends about it, and so her downloads increased significantly compared to other free ebooks. Now, this isn't necessarily going to be true for everyone, and I don't think she's pursued going into that industry full-time, but it's just to show that there is still potential on that sphere of influence. So, thank you for listening to my speech, and hope you have a great day.